All right, we're going to start here in the DAC testing space because this is a review of the Holo Cyan 2. Excuse me, Moran's microphone that hangs from the ceiling like I'm a boxing promoter. There it is. So I'm going to bring it to the desk and we're going to talk about it there. But I wanted to show you where it's been for 4 or 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Because this area here, specifically with the Supermon Minis and the Sparkos Gemini, which a review incoming, has been my place of just pleasure listening. Wallpaper in a future sound demo. And we got to talk about a DAC. And it's not a cheap DAC. It's over $1,000. So, if that's not your thing, leave. But this one's weird. Weird in a way. Like, all right, I shit on the Holo May, years ago. The $4,000 DAC, and I probably would still today just because of its price. But at $1,200, this is not out of the range of possibility. We just gotta, it's got, you know what? Let's bring it to the desk. We gotta talk there. Get it? You just cry wolf, and it's a Holo side in with a Holo whoop at that. Okay, AC/DC. So here we are on the desk. And I'm going to play the most devil's advocate I've ever played in this channel. I think an expensive quality DAC is important. But, and that's the thing, that's the but. Everyone's like, oh shit, he said but. I don't think it is as important for headphones than it is for speakers. Now, that could just be a perception thing. After finding out how Eris and a closed back, even though it's not a closed back, it's a semi-open, which, by the way, I made a headphone, it's called Eris, it's got bass, and soundstage, perception of things is very personal. And I don't know what something sounds like to you or tastes like to you. You might love asparagus, and I'm actually growing into asparagus, but other people hate asparagus, or the cilantro thing where it tastes like soap. I'm 50-50. Sometimes I like a little bit of cilantro, but if there's too much cilantro, I gag. So the quality of a DAC, in my opinion, this is big fucking flashy. Do not take it out of context. My opinion, the quality of a DAC has way more to do with positional audio on near-field speakers than anywhere else. Here on a desk, I got the Lyric 2, I got the Abyss Dianas, I got my Eris, I got the fucking HPA V281 limited edition because the owner of this is the owner of this. Here on a desk, I've got this unit hooked up to the Orchard Audio Pecan Pi, and I've got it hooked up to the Gishelli flagship giant fucking Daisy. I got all three here. Boom, boom, boom. I can switch between them. And there's obviously a voltage difference from going from balanced on this to the other ones. But whatever other changes I'm hearing are very, very subtle. It's me playing the smallest violin. And if you are one of those people who absolutely can't get out of bed in the morning or get hard at all unless you know you've got the best of the best of the best, then these words will not fucking even hit you. Just right past them. This is one of the best DACs I've heard in the DAC testing arena. Here on the desk, is there a little bit of a softness? You know what? Maybe I can't tell. Whatever the benefits of a DAC, and this is just a generalization, not specifically towards the Cyan 2. Whatever the betterments of a DAC, it's real hard to pick out. So the fact that I figured out a place, and it only took $5,000 worth of equipment that I had to slot a DAC in and out before I could hear a difference. But I could hear a difference. And this, in that space there, the sounds are deeper. Between the two speakers, I'm talking not headphones. Fuck headphones for a second. Let's talk speakers. With this DAC compared to the last good DAC or great DAC or just moderately okay DAC, because I have a bad DAC I'm going to hook up there to have as a reference point. But when you listen to it, it's oh my God, the accuracy of the sound placement in the air and it sounds like it's 7 feet back or it's up here. That's what the DAC do. The problem is that sound placement, because I think frequency, can we all agree that every DAC, no matter how cheap, except for maybe the Prozar DAC that Golden sent me, every DAC will provide 20 to 20. 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. We all agree to that, right? No matter how shitty it is, it's still providing the entirety of the frequency response. Now, a Headphone Show did a wonderful video on explaining how a DAC works and how it draws the line and how the better a DAC, the better it can draw the line. And yes, you want a minimum amount of goodness for that. That's what I was saying in my head before. Actually, I said in the first take of this video. If you buy a $2,000 headphone and a $2,000 amplifier, the odds of you using a $100 DAC are quite low. And it isn't, you know, you absolutely could, and it would probably still sound fucking amazing. I'm looking at you, SU1. I have an SMSL SU1. It's this big, it's so cute. But this is what I call a peace of mind DAC. This piece of equipment is for peace of mind. And we got to get into the fact that it has there's no buttons. There's only one switch for power. You don't get to choose the input. You don't get to turn it off. You don't get to change the volume. This, if you go back on this channel, search for the ODAC, O-D-A-C. I did a review of it. It was less than a minute long because I literally held it up. It's over there on the shelf somewhere. Because all it was a USB plug and RCA outputs. That was the ODAC. It had nothing. It was the best thing since sliced bread. You plugged in the signal. It turned on with the USB power. It output. That was all it did. This is not far off from that. You get these beautiful displays in the front. Ooh, it says Cyan 2. It shows you power, USB, I2S, which is what I'm using to source it, coaxial, AES, and optical. And then it gives you an infinite fucking array of the different levels of 44.1, 44.1, 48, 1000, 24X, 768K. If I went through my, where's my folder of 24-bit sample music? If I go here, boom, pops over to 96. I'm sure if I shuffle around, it'll eventually hit 88 or something. Come on. There, back to 44.1. Why is there a 44? Oh, the new Force demo. Never mind. 96 again.
Listen to the tonal precision and richness of harmonic layers, along with the authority of this magnificent Fazioli piano.
No, make me. So the front's real simple. That's it. There's just nothing to touch. The back will lift up, which I'm not worried about damaging anything on the front. Power switch is the only thing you've got. Outputs, outputs, inputs, input, 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 power. The end. So now, this makes it hard for Zeos to do a review because Zeos likes to touch and fiddle and go, that's what he likes to do. So there's nothing to do here. It's got silicone feet, just placed there. There's your serial numbers and your input voltages because it says it's 110. This is not capable of 110 or 220. You got to order it like that. I don't believe there is a switch. The box is beautiful. This material, like whatever this aluminum, whatever they've done to it, I just want to touch it all day. I just want to like rub my hands on it. It's got the bright orange sides that are even smoother somehow than this. So it has a look. It looks quality. And it is famous for the, here, I'll read some, I hate reading words because you're all going to, if you want to buy this anyway, I'm gone Kitsunsu Hi-Fi, pinnacle of audio precision and clarity, which is interesting because Holo also makes the Spring and the May, which are much more expensive. So if they're writing this as the pinnacle, then okay, there you go. Unparalleled. I'm going to read some words. These are words that you will definitely read in reviews of any audio gear. Pinnacle of audio. Immerse. Unparalleled sound quality. Giant. Discreet. Say goodbye. Blah, 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 blah. So one of the things this does. So here's the thing. I am a simpleton. The same in music. I don't like complications. That's actually from a song. And you can't get simpler than a fucking box with no buttons. No, like, it's funny because that page is like, the unit contains no buttons and no remote control. There you go. Done. So if you go through this, what it says is that this is designed for music enthusiasts, blah, blah, supports non-oversampling, providing a pristine audio signal to stay true to the original, blah, 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 blah. It is an R2R DAC. I should probably point that out. And it's interesting in that everyone is sort of focused on it because of how simple it is. Because it claims to have like, you know, you can actually look inside. There's pictures here on this page. Like everything in it is. Can I hit the plus button, please, and actually take a look? There we go. Toroidal transformer, a bunch of capacitors. There's your ladder DAC. The way the DAC is. The best way to build a DAC is an R2R. It's expensive because you have to put resistors in a stack so that all the different samples and things can be just completed all at once. And that's it. There it is. It's just basic bullshit. But because it doesn't oversample, because it's basically a raw dog, it's a raw dog resistor ladder. When you add volume control, there's nothing in the way of the signal coming in, getting fucked with, and then output. That's it. It's in and out. It's in and out. And I think that is part of the reason why in the speaker DAC testing fucking arena, which is all I want to talk about, this sounds so good. Probably the best sounding thing in that area. Now, if you're looking at this channel and you're like, I'm a headphone guy, Zeos, will it benefit me for headphones? That's the controversial opinion. I don't know if a DAC matters as, and I would, 2 years ago, Zeos, you would have not been able to fight me on the conviction that obviously if I'm testing a piece of audio gear, I want to get as close to the sound as possible. So of course I'll wear headphones or really good IAMs. I'll pull out my, the Dunu Zen Pros, and I'll get them in my ear hole for $900, single dynamic, nothing in the way of it. Put it in there and listen for the DAC changes. But when the sound is so in your ears, you can't, it doesn't have like time or place to change shape, if that makes any fucking sense. I know I'm not making any sense, but this is high-end audio now. I consider this high-end, all right? $1,000 fucking DAC is high-end audio. And the people out there who are like, call that high-end? No. I call that other shit expensive. $40,000 DACs are people taking you for a ride. All right? They're giving you a $15,000 box with whatever the fuck's in there that doesn't beat it. And then again, it's measurements and still. And then, but I have it in my system. I just told you. Not the speaker arena where I listen to my big speakers that are 8 feet away. It only matters on near field. I have $6,000 Mons that are fucking amazing. You know what? If I change the DAC, it doesn't really change that much. Because they're too far away. There's too much room. Too much of acoustic. It needs to be a soft near field. That's the only place I can hear a DAC difference that's like palpable. So, I mean, you are more than willing to argue, and I know you fucking are, that with Zeos, I changed DAC and this DAC and that DAC. And there are subtle differences in a headphone. Maybe it just takes the edge off of something. But is any of that worth thousands of dollars? I'm always and will always be a cheap motherfucker. But that doesn't mean I'm also going to talk down to something that's actually making an audible difference. Would I recommend this DAC to anyone who has headphones? Yeah, sure. I think it's one of the best DACs as far as output ever. Only 1 out of like 4 places can I actually detect that. But that's enough. That's all you need to be like, oh, Zeos said it was the best here. Zeos was in the vacuum of fucking space on the International Space Station with this special $200,000 headphone, and he heard a difference in this DAC and this DAC. Therefore, in my fucking house, on my $500 hi-fi bins, on a $300 amplifier, I'll obviously be able to hear the difference. You won't. You won't be able to. That's my DAC argument. Now, this was sent to me luckily by a person, not the company, so I don't care if I offend anybody, and I'm not going to offend Holo. I'm going to recommend you buy this if you have that fucking itch to have, like, I need the best. Zeos says he needs the best. Well, here you go. Fuck, it's fine. I just don't. I'm warning you as consumers, which we all consume, fucking, apparently we just crush money into these boxes so that we could listen to music. Remember music? That's why on the Hi-Fi Guides forum, if you're not on the forums, the Hi-Fi Guides forum, the very, very, very top pinned post is, what are you listening to today? Why is that light on? Echo, turn on review time. Did weird things. Anyway, sorry if your house has 1 inch to review time. Oh, the purple light wasn't even on. The whole review is ruined. Anyway, I get angry with expensive DACs. And it's no longer about them just being expensive. It's more about the perception that I'm trying to fight. That maybe this won't help you. Because if I'm sitting here with one of the best amplifiers I've ever fucking heard, on some of the best headphones I've ever fucking heard, like as far as clarity and pulling out and describe, obviously I'd pull out more than just a Abyss headphones, but I'm trying to cull your expectations down to like, if you spend $1,200 in this box, it's not going to change your entire world. Your perspective is different unless you have specifically the sound system, whether that sound system is headphones or speakers or near field speakers and near. As a Zeos who gets to fucking stress over this shit, I'm just telling you, I'm warning you, it may not make as big a difference as you want. Now, I got a fucking ton of DACs over here to talk about and review. And yeah, they're all going to have their little features and differences, but at least they'll have features. This is featureless. This is a box. And I kind of love it for that. Like, I kind of love it for that. I kind of love it for that. I kind of love it for the fact that it's a inert box. It's got a ton of shit going on inside of it, making that $1,200 seem pretty reasonable, considering the build quality of the actual box, the quality of the connectors, and how much shit's going on with the R2R. You know what, Holo, you made up for the goddamn May. I love this thing. I would buy this thing, but if I bought it, it would only be in that near field testing arena, which I need to have multiple DACs in anyway. In fact, I would have my bad DAC, which I'm not going to say what the bad DAC is. It may come up in the future, but I really like the company that makes it, and I don't want to shit all over them yet until I've verified this multiple times. But if I had the bad DAC and the good DAC, which would be this, and then I would put the DAC I'm testing in the middle, and then I'd have a switch box. Bad DAC, great DAC, what are you? That works for me. Can you get past it? I love these videos. I don't have anything to touch, so I'm just have to get into my own head and be like, all right, I gotta argue this. Like, also, I want people to be able to like positively and competently say, oh, Zeo says this is one of the best DACs he's ever heard. Asterisks in the speaker testing near field arena, only there on these specific amplifiers that are the cleanest amplifiers in the planet Earth, on these specific speakers that are like $2,000 Korean monitors that not everyone's gonna fucking be able to put in front of just softness. But there it is. There it's good. It's like buying a car you're about to drive around Midtown Manhattan because it lapped the Nürburgring 0.7 seconds faster than your previous car. That's the best analogy I can come up with. Oh, you see this car? World record holder on the Nürburgring. Meanwhile, Midtown Manhattan. As far as I'm concerned, you'd have to have such a fucking, I don't even know. I haven't heard the headphone setup to bring out this DAC's benefits to the level of like those speakers. It's super weird. And it's hard for me to explain it, which is why I get angry trying to explain it. Because it's like, well, not even speakers here. They got to be that far apart. And then you got to have the sound stage and the depth. It's all about the depth. And this thing in that area, fucking depth for days. Can't bring it over to headphones though. It just doesn't translate. Anyway, yeah, this has been the Holo Cyan 2 review. There's nothing else I have to say about it. Read the fucking thing. If you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. It literally will make less than 1% of difference on a headphone setup, and it makes a pretty big, significant difference on speakers if they're set up in sort of a near-field setup where you could really pull apart the soundstage. All right? It just, every time I do a DAC now, it's going to be this sort of argument. Spend what you need to spend to feel confident in your system. Because I think all audiophiles are, what the fuck's the word for it? When you have no confidence in yourself and you're just like, you're timid and afraid, and you're like, what if my sound doesn't have, my audio, look, the cables are on the floor. The power cable that's coming over here is on the floor. I got to raise it up because, oh God, the interference, I can hear it. If you're one of those people, you should probably find a better fucking hobby than audio, because this hobby will drain you to death. But it's a good DAC. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of it's just, I want to love this and just like, okay, everybody, it's great. But I gotta put so many asterisks on it, because if I don't, you're gonna be like, oh well, Zeo, I bought this $1,200 thing, and really, I had the EF 600, or in the case of the EF 500 here, and I swapped it out, and it's not really that big a difference. So are you listening on headphones? Maybe it's just okay. It's just okay. Anyway, Patreon Subscribe Star support these mad ravings. I should really put those promotions at the beginning of the video. Most people probably don't even know I have a Patreon or Subscribe Star, where you can see reviews early, participate in yard sales, get lossless sound demos, ask me a Q&A, which I have to film the response for the monthly Q&A today. You can all see the responses, by the way. You just can't ask the questions unless you're a patron. So if you want to check out the responses for the Q&A, there should be a tag for question and answer monthly Q&A on there somewhere. I already talked about the forums, $5 a month, $10 a month, private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat. They know I have this. In fact, the people who let me borrow this are in there. They're getting it back now. And here's the thing. If I could judge a piece of equipment in one way, am I sad to see it go? Yes and yes. So it's not even like tier lists don't matter. Is Zeos sad it's gone and wishes it could stay? Yes, both of these units. Both. So that ties up my review of the Holo Cyan 2. Also, if you're a $10 patron, you get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. So if you wanted to spend $1,200 on a DAC, you could sell things. And if you wanted to see if anyone's willing to sell you their thing, you could ask for it there. Anyway, I'm done. We're done. I'm going to switch back to the Eris because really, here's how I'm ending this video. I don't like analyzing all this, just so hard to analyze it. I just want to listen to music and enjoy it. And if we have to get through this together so that you can enjoy your music, then let's do it. All right? All right? We have to have these arguments and these discussions because I need to convince a lot of people that they're spending too much. And if you're going to spend it on the right things. Spend it on the things that are going to make you real differences. Not that this isn't, but again, only in like an 8% of your scenarios. So which way is this wired? We're wired into soundstage mode. The staging mode, which means Zeos is right. We put the right channel here. Anyway, No. What is this? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we got some shit going on, boys. I'll see you in the next one.